So the second thing I want to do is an Irish folktale, and I heard this Irish folktale from Dr. Conor McGuire and Claire Morris, which is in County Mayo, Western Ireland, north of Galway Bay. It's called The Origin of the Cat, and I know there's a lot of cat lovers in the audience, I'm sure. So here it goes. Fado, fado, long, long ago in Erin, Jesus, the Son of God, and Mary, his mother, the Blessed Virgin, were walking down a lane, as they did in those days, and there were no cats. And they're walking, and after a while they're getting hungry, so they saw a house, and there was no cats at the house, by the way, and but Jesus sent Mary into the house to get him something to eat. And so Mary went in and asked the woman of the house. She saw that they were winnowing wheat, and she said, "Could I have an alm of wheat? Because we're hungry." And the woman said no. So she went back out. She told Jesus what happened, and Jesus says, "Look, go back in and ask for it in the name of God." So Mary went back in, asked the woman of the house, "Could I have an alm of wheat in the name of God?" And the woman said no. So Mary went back out to Jesus, who's getting kind of pissed by now, and so Jesus says, "Look, do this. Go back in the house and ask them if you could take your fist and put it in a bucket of water, and then put it in the wheat, and whatever sticks to your fist, can you have that?" And so that's what Mary did. Mary went in, she asked them, and they said yes. So she put her fist in the water, she put her wet fist into the wheat, took out some wheat on her wet hand, and went back to Jesus. And Jesus said, "This is very precious. Don't drop a grain of wheat." Okay? So they keep walking along, and they happen to get to a mill. And there's no cats at the mill either. And but they went into the mill, and they asked the boy who was working there, he said, "Could you grind the wheat for us?" And he says, "No, I'm not going to waste my time on that little bit of wheat." And but then the owner of the mill, his name was Martin, he heard what happened, and he came out and he said, "Oh yeah, I'll do that for you." So Martin grinds the wheat, gives them the flour, and Jesus and Mary leave. And right after that, there's no cats. All of a sudden, the mill was miraculously full of flour to overflowing. There's flour everywhere. There's no cats, but there's flour. So Martin realizes it was a miracle. He goes running after Jesus and Mary. He's running, and he tripped, and he fell into a hawthorn bush, and a thorn from the hawthorn pierced him in his chest. And Jesus saw what happened, and Jesus went up to him and put his hand on the man's chest, and it was healed. It was miraculously healed. And so Jesus told Martin, "Okay, good, do this. Go home and take a bowl and put the bowl upside down over some flour and leave it there overnight." So Martin went home and he did that. He took a bowl, put some flour under it, and left it. And his servant girl saw what was happening. She did the same thing. She took a bowl, she put it over some flour, and they left it there for the night. Okay. The next morning, Martin picked up the bowl, and underneath it was a huge sow and a bunch of little bonhams, little piglets. Wow. And the servant girl picked up her bowl, and under it was a big mouse and a bunch of little mouseen, little baby mice. And Martin didn't want mice in his house, so he took off his work glove and he threw it at the mice, and the glove turned into a cat. And the cat chased all the mice out of the house. And that's the origin of the cat. And if there's a fib in my tale, then so be it. Thank you.
Hey, yeah. I thought it was going to be a hairy dog story, but it was just a story.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike Delaney.
Thank you.